Hello, and welcome to Geek Portal on CIB24.com. I'm your host, Paul Cuselo. This is the show that keeps you informed of all things geek. On today's episode, we will be discussing the newest rock stars of our solar system, the possibility of extraterrestrial life, and Saturn's ring system. Will it, much like the American waistline, continue to grow larger in the future? Planets, moons, our solar system. Who needs them, right? We can see what sort of mischief the Bieber is up to. What? Wrong. With the arrival of many satellites and probes, the curtain of our solar system is being pulled back, and what we have found is more unbelievable than the Kardashians being picked up for another season. All right, I'll just go back a few steps and years. We will begin with the Voyager spacecraft. Now, the Voyager is a deep space probe which was launched in 1977 with the purpose of detailed study of the outer giant planets. Now, to my surprise, most are not even aware of the Voyager program, but I believe it to be one of the most important and fantastic achievements of the human race. It started with a man named Gary Flandreau. Nerd! He was tasked with the studying of techniques for exploring outer space. He discovered that in the 1970s, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune would all be positioned on the same side of the Sun at the same time in close proximity to one another. This allowed us to build a spacecraft that could visit and document these planets all in a single trip. Now, this alignment only happens once every 175 years, and the last time Thomas Jefferson was in the White House, and he blew it. So, the 70s roll around and we sent Voyagers 1 and 2 on their way. Yes, we sent 2, better off doubling our chances, on their journey to the great distant gas giants, Jupiter and Saturn, and the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune. Now, what we found on those planets was eye-opening, and I could stand here all day discussing them, but to get to the crux of my point, we are here to discuss their moons, the greatest surprises of the Voyager mission. What made the moons a greater surprise than a competent transit system in Toronto was the overwhelming diversity amongst the moons. We expected the moons to be cratered and dead, much like our own moon. This brings us to a favorite planet of many, Saturn, with its beautiful rings, which we now know to be made of ice. Now let's take a closer look at its moons. Our first celebrity is a moon of Saturn's known as Titan, 1.5 billion kilometers from Earth. Now, what on this moon has caught our attention? An atmosphere. The only planetary object rotating around a planet with an atmosphere. It has an atmosphere 1,000 kilometers deep. That's 4 times denser than the atmosphere on Earth, and only half as dense as some of my friends.
Ooh. Oh no.
Titan has the most Earth-like atmosphere in our solar system. Pictures from the Cassini probe orbiting Titan have discovered lakes on Titan, lakes of liquid methane. We now have another planetary body in our system with liquid pooling on the surface. Its biggest lake, Kraken Mare, is almost 5 times bigger than Lake Superior. And on Titan, methane plays the same role as water on our planet. It exists as a solid, a liquid, and a gas. Yes, before you say it, I'm sure Titan probably smells like an airplane bathroom. In 2005, a probe called Huygens passed through Titan's atmosphere to land on the frozen moon. We could be looking at a sort of early Earth. If we on Earth are a hydrological cycle who emerged from water, then Titan would be a world with a methological cycle. Insert your Breaking Bad joke here.
Whoa.
Now, the next planetary body gaining faster stardom than Rob Ford is another moon of Saturn's. This time, it's on its far outer edge is the small moon Enceladus. Now, Enceladus has become one to watch by the fact that it's bitterly cold, rocking a minus 201 degrees Celsius that would drive any Canadian indoors. Yet we were astonished to find evidence of volcanism. Not, but... When Cassini flew under Enceladus' south pole, we found hot spots, which means that there is more heat coming out of the south pole than its equatorial regions. This would be like saying on Earth there is more heat coming out of Antarctica than out of the equator. The Cassini photographed Enceladus and captured the unimaginable. Geysers. They're Giant geysers, eruptions of water, not molten rock, but water. Giant geysers of water that shoot off Enceladus' south pole. This means there must be liquid oceans inside Enceladus and a mysterious heat source melting the ice and generating these eruptions. Well, it turns out Enceladus has an oval rotation around Saturn, and it gets closer and farther away from Saturn and is regularly squeezed by the planet's gravity. A good example is a squash ball. You have to heat up the ball before playing, and one way to do it is to squeeze it over and over and over again, and then the laws of friction take over. Ball heats up. Bursting through the surface at 1,300 kilometers per hour and shooting out thousands of kilometers into Saturn's space, any liquid freezes instantly, and the ice fountains of Enceladus are creating one of Saturn's rings. So previously, it's been believed that Saturn's rings might disappear over time. In fact, Saturn's rings should appear larger and brighter than ever before. For our last stop, we need to take a trip to Jupiter and its moons. We arrive at the icy moon Europa, a little closer than the previous two, at only 628,300,000 kilometers from Earth. Europa is the smoothest body in our solar system. Its surface is etched in these bizarre red markings. Close up, we can see deep cracks on the surface of Europa, but in these cracks lies the story, as we see this exact same pattern in sea ice. Now, measurements of Europa's magnetic field have confirmed a rocky core, and then this icy shell is sitting on a sea of salty ocean that may be a staggering 100 kilometers deep. That would mean that there is twice as much water on this tiny moon than all of the water on Earth. I can already see our water commercials.
Are you tired of the same old water? How about water from across the solar system? Europa water.
I can't believe it's not Earth's. Can I have some more? This discovery would make Europa our most likely candidate to finding extraterrestrial life. Or we could just open up Area 51. Exploration has never been so important. Not only are we making strides into pursuing possibly the most important question, are we alone in the universe? As for Voyager, our greatest explorer, well, its 36-year journey continues. As of August 25th, 2012, Voyager became the first human-made object to enter interstellar space outside our solar system, traveling further than anyone or anything in history. That's it for today's episode of Geek Portal. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check out CIB24.com for more cool videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.